Good evening and thank you so much for joining us here on KAFTAN television. This is Joy Asonye Live. Well, as usual, we'll be discussing political issues, and today we'll be taking it to the NNPP. That's the New Nigeria People's Party. We'll be talking about the aftermath of the general election, especially with my guest. I'm excited today because my guest today had been very optimistic about how the NNPP will fare. How did it all go? I mean, at the moment, they can only boast of 2 senatorial seats, 18 in the House of Representatives, 28 among the state houses of assembly. That is not what I was told when we had conversations at the heat of the elections. That optimism, what happened? I expected the NNPP to do even better. That's what we'll be discussing, and I have with me in the studio Dr. Stanley Ijeh. He's the National Vice Chairman South of the New Nigeria People's Party. Thank you so much for being part of the program.
Thank you so much, Joy, and thanks for having me. And good evening, Nigerians.
We'll go for a short break, Dr. Ijeh. When we return, we'll go to the crux of the matter, what happened in the general elections. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is still Joy Asonye Live. Like I said earlier, we have Dr. Stanley Ijeh, the National Vice Chairman South of the New Nigeria People's Party, the NNPP. What happened, Dr. Stanley? I mean, I remember you speaking so confidently about the NNPP and the build-up of the elections. It was going to be the third force that to strip off the APC and the NNPP and the PDP. You were so confident that your principal, that Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso, was going to emerge president. You were so confident that governors would be springing from all the states, the 28 states that contested, from the NNPP, but we did not see that happen. First of all, what would you say went wrong? In retrospect, what would you have done better, especially as the National Vice Chairman of the South? South did not seem to give you that much votes, according to what was eventually declared by the Independent National Electoral Commission.
Thank you very much. It is quite appalling that INEC descended to its lowest ebb in this election. The 2023 general election will remain a very terrible taste in the mouth of Nigerians for decades to come. For the issue of how we fare or how we did not fare well in the election, I will tell you that we give kudos to members of the New Nigeria People's Party, because it was a case of outright disenfranchisement from INEC.
Disenfranchisement?
Yes.
Should we go there just yet, or I should let you continue?
No, let's
keep that yet.
It will interest you to know that we are the only political party that before the whistle was blown, INEC had decided our fate.
How is that?
Good. Our party happens to be the only party INEC never allow opportunity to download into their portals our candidates. They shut us out.
Okay, and it wasn't because you had exceeded the deadline?
No. We had more than 72 hours left. INEC shut us out. We went to court. We defeated it. We got judgment in the High Court, in the Appeal Court, even up to Supreme Court. INEC still refused to allow us to upload our members. It will be interesting to know that our political party, the NNPP, was the only party that won the election. INEC dashed that election.
In what election?
The issue of Senators Shekau and Hangers. If we didn't go to, if the Supreme Court judgment, INEC have already given that seat to a man who never contested, to a man who willingly left NNPP for PDP, openly declared. How will INEC explain to Nigerians the rationale or the reason why NNPP was not in the ballot? We neither had our logo,
right?
nor our name on the ballot.
I read the letter by your former chairman, the NNPP former chairman, that's Professor Rufai Alkali, who said there was hostility. That's his words exactly.
Yes.
Hostility towards the NNPP.
Yes.
Before we even get into the illegible logo that was also alleged, let's talk about that. Hostility towards the NNPP. NNPP was coming up as quite a small party. I'm talking about numbers in comparison with the PDP and the APC. Why do you think INEC will finger you when there was a Labour Party also coming as well? Why would INEC just pick you and be hostile towards you? Would you say you did not follow the guidelines of INEC and that is why you were affected?
Ironically, I want to tell Nigerians that are listening to this program that NNPP happened to be the only party that judiciously followed the INEC guideline to its conclusive conclusion. We are the only political party that campaign in every nook and cranny of this country.
Other political parties didn't do that?
Well, we didn't see them. We only seen them flying and dropping.
What do you mean by campaign? I mean, I saw...
We went to every village, even to the border states, to the border villages in this country. There is no place His Excellency Senator Rabi Musa Kwakwaso did not visit. We did all that.
All 774 local governments. By every place. You need to understand.
INEC from onset.
Right.
Just choose to do what he decided on NNPP for reason best known to them. Because it's a record that there is no political party that INEC appealed any case against except NNPP. It's a record. Go and check it out. So why?
And that's before the election.
Before the election.
Right.
Why is it that INEC deliberately chooses not to have our logo, not our name on the ballot? Why?
And it has nothing to do with the discrepancies of the time.
So
of
our people were deliberately, excuse me, ma, our people were deliberately shut out. Because if with my position as National Zonal Vice Chairman of the party, I could find difficulty in recognizing which one is my political party in the ballot, how much more the ordinary folks in the streets.
Okay, let's get there. Why did you find it difficult? I see you wear glasses. Is that why you couldn't figure out
because
your logo?
Because it was not legible. The name was not there. We don't even know where they got their logo, the logo they put in there, because that isn't our logo.
And you think that affected your numbers?
Well, sure it does. Because people, let me tell you something, my dear. If there is any political party that have membership across every nook and cranny of this country, it is NNPP. NNPP has what we call the Kwakwansias, TNM, the Nigerian movement. These are groups that came together to form the new Nigerian People's Party. There is no ward in this country or local government nor states where the Kwakwansia movement did not have membership. So why is it difficult for us to get enough votes in this place? Because we were shut out. People could not see the logo nor the name of the party. If the name is there, people could see NNPP. If the logo is there, people could see the baskets,
right?
On the Nigerian map.
Right. Would you say that this illegible logo, the print, was a printing problem? And before you answer, was it across the nation?
Across every polling unit. Across every polling unit. I said I had difficulties identifying which one is mine.
So how did the people of Kano State, because in Kano you did fare well, how did the people of Kano State decipher your logo and voted for you, and the people of Cross River, for instance, didn't seem to see this logo?
Yeah, you see, you have to understand that any way a face Senator Rabi Musa Kwankwaso comes from Kano. The very moment that discrepancies was identified, we have to find a way to reach out to our people to say, oh, count from so and so number to so and so number, the next will be NNPP. Count from under to this. But how many people can you reach out to?
You are the South.
No, I'm just telling you. How many people can you reach out to?
If
my phone died by 11:45
a.m.
Yes, because people were calling. And being a disciplined party, we were just begging our members not to take the laws into their hands.
No, I'm not expecting the laws to be taken into anybody's
hands. Why not?
I was just asking, how did Kano people figure out this logo?
That is what I'm telling you. That for the fact that,
and you are the national vice chairman, South.
Yes.
What could you have done better? Because you obviously believe that the 1.496 plus votes that Kwankwaso garnered would have been more if that logo was visible enough.
Oh, yes.
And in Kano State, he did win. He won landslide. He seemed to get the vote from that state.
He would have won more.
He would have won more.
Expecting over 3 million.
No argument there. No, Dr. Ijeh, no argument there. However, what did they do? What did your political party do to ensure Kano people saw this place, and you as a vice chairman South didn't do for the South people who you believe had so much support for your party?
The states and the stakes were different.
Okay.
In Kano states, they have a unified language which everybody understands. In Cross River, where you come from, there were about maybe 6 or 7 different languages.
18, really.
18, thank you, spoken by your own people. So disseminating this information to the locals, every politics is local. And I should expect you have agents in most of the polling. How many of those agents have seen the ballot paper before that time?
You don't have a data of your people?
I am just telling you that
there was some sort of before the elections party members. I'm not sure.
We had our logo.
Right. I'm asking. Isn't there some sort of
voters education?
Not just education, but critically looking at this voter ballot papers.
Thank you very much.
So there was that. I'm trying to remember how the INEC calls it now, where political parties come to inspect is the word, inspect these ballot papers before they go into the elections. Was NNPP leadership, did they represent some of the parties that came to inspect these papers?
I think you are failing to understand my point.
I want to really understand.
NNPP have an acceptable logo,
right,
that we have used for our campaign,
of course,
which we have used in our posters, in our banners,
right,
and campaign materials. How many people will you reach out to tell them that this thing that you have been used to is not what was on the ballot?
So before the elections, you were aware that this.
If we were aware, we will not be saying this.
So you weren't aware because you were not expect it like other political parties?
If 1 or 2 persons 3 days to the election had gone to inspect INEC material and found out that there were discrepancies and complaints were made, what will INEC have done, or what should they have done, or what did they do to correct those
anomalies? Your phone would probably not have died if you had 2 days to go. Probably you will call all your agents to say, talk to your people, talk to the people there. But my question would be,
stop defending.
I'm not defending. I'm not defending.
INEC shut out shut NNPP out of the election.
So what happened there? When your supporters went to the polling unit and could not read out the NNPP?
We are a disciplined party.
No, what my question would be, what were they forced to do? Vote the Labour Party, vote the APC, or the people?
I am not the voter, so I voted. I don't know what other people did.
What did you do? Because you two seem to complain that you couldn't.
I was able to at least decipher and say, okay, these are all the
popular.
You get it? So possibly this is our own.
It's possible you voted for Zenith Party.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but it's possible
you voted for the
so
what
I'm telling you is this: INEC had their ulterior motive ever before the game started. They have had their reason to treat NNPP the way they did. Like I said to you, INEC had a portal where you upload the names and the data information of your candidates. Why did they shut us out? They are yet to tell Nigerians that. And when they shut us out, we complained. They said go to court. We went to court. We had judgment in the High Court. INEC appealed. We followed them up to appeal court. We got judgment against them. They went to Supreme Court. Even with Supreme Court pronouncement, INEC still refused to upload this candidate. I will give you an example.
Okay.
I had two candidates from my senatorial zone. One is even from my own local government. The candidate of my local government is somebody's else name we found there. Tony Oche, who was our House of Rep member, it was another Nana who saw his name there.
Was it a case? I mean, one thing that INEC had complained about is that political parties such as yourself, that's NNPP and the Labour Party, I think, were uploading names indiscriminately and
no, my dear.
And on short notice, this is an allegation.
I'm not a politician.
I am not, and I'm happy I'm not. But I want you to clarify
like
this.
I said to you before.
Right.
You don't have any business defending INEC.
I am not defending,
yes,
but
INEC have shown Nigerian INEC under Mahmoud have shown Nigerians that he wasn't prepared for this election.
Okay, but well, good thing names were not published. Names were not in the ballot boxes, and so whoever
the issue still remains.
Like the Shakaro case.
Yes, the issue still remain that why would INEC award an election to a man who willingly withdrew, wrote a letter to INEC, called a world press conference,
and withdrew from the
race.
Withdrew from the party, in fact.
And withdrew from the party. And somebody, the party organized another primaries attended by the same INEC.
And it was not uploaded.
And at the end of the day, this man conducted a campaign for the election and won, and you substitute his name again to a man who never who never participated in the election.
That's a very simple thing, if you ask me, Doctor. I mean, it's simple. I mean, it could just be one of the glitches that INEC said they faced with their
How many glitches INEC have?
INEC also supervised the primaries that you talked about.
Yes.
It's only possible that there was a glitch in uploading. That's simple.
No. So what happened in Adamawa? What happened in Adamawa to the glitches from INEC? Like I said. Professor Mahmoud of INEC has so many reasons to explain to Nigerians why he did and conducted his election the way he did. Do you understand me? For me, one of the reasons why we have not gone to court to challenge INEC You know why? Whatever happens again, is it not the same Mahmoud that will still conduct either supplementary or another election? How are we too sure that it's not going to do even worse than what it did? Comparing what happened in Adamawa a few days ago. Save that Nigerians stood up. I was happy that a woman was going to be a governor in Nigeria, but not the way she emerged, or she was purported to have emerged. Do you understand me? It was a shame. It was something nobody will ever believe will happen in this century to a giant of Africa. So, those who conducted the 2023 election from INEC need to apologize to Nigerians.
Right.
They need to really stand up and say we are sorry for the hearts that are broken. Do you know what it means to...
Because I'm smiling because how about the 2 Senate seats that you got? Because, I mean, your former chairman had asked for a rerun, a complete rerun of the entire elections, right?
Yes.
And my question would be, would you say that with all the hitches that or hurdles that you say the NNPP, like you said, it was a targeted hostility towards the NNPP. Would you say the 18 House of Reps that you clinched, you probably would have clinched more, and those people also wouldn't have gotten those seats if the entire elections have to be done all over again, conducted all over again? Would you say that the 28 state houses of assembly that the NNPP clinched, would you also say
the history of elections in Nigeria?
Are we picking and choosing those parts where the elections didn't work?
No, just
as long as 28 state houses of assembly, you clinched that part was okay, but the others you didn't clinch, there should be rerun. Or you do want a general rerun of everything?
I think you need to understand the dynamics that are involved here.
Okay.
It's on record that the candidates or the gubernatorial candidates of NNPP
across the 28 states that were
had the highest number of votes.
The 28 states that it was conducted in.
In the history of Nigeria, that is the first time a governorship candidate is emerging with over 1 million, in fact 1.2 million naira and above votes.
You said naira, they are almost eager. Are you talking about the Kano state now?
Yes, that will show you the popularity of the party and the candidates
in Kano state
and our leaders in Nigeria.
In Kano state.
No, I said
a lot of people, when I remember this conversation, we had it way before the elections, where people told you we are not disputing the support base you enjoy in Kano state. And these elections also prove to those people who believe that you do not enjoy a national support base, it was just Kano state.
It is not true.
Why do you think that
because
with all the suppression
you seem to forget that in Taraba it is still being contested to today, because we are leading PDP and others with over 38,000 votes, and suddenly abracadabra came in and the INEC rec came out to say that he announced those results under duress. Right. You read it?
I read it.
You read it, good. You are equally aware that even the last interview you gave me a few days to the election, people were still talking about a man who has campaigned all over Nigeria, stepping down for
Atiku. I remember the speculation at the time that
so the amount of propaganda, irrespective of the amount of propaganda that other political parties and their agents put out there to discredit Senator Rabiu Musa Kwakwanso, PhD, and the man was able to pull these fruits that he still maintained the first 4. One thing you have to appreciate, man, is that NNPP is on record that this is the first time a political party that is less than 200 days in the race
garner that much support.
This strength.
But what would you then say about the Labour Party when you say...
No, the Labour Party has been there. The Labour Party has been there.
Right.
Mimiko ran under the Labour Party. Oshomole once ran under the Labour Party.
And the NNPP is new. The NNPP has always been there.
No, look, let's get...
Just like the Labour Party
No.
Just like Obi came and revamped
the Labour Party.
No. That is exactly
the
what...
scenarios are different.
Tell me how.
The scenarios were different. The Labour Party has once had a governorship candidate, even a governorship, a governor. I just mentioned his name, Mimiko, before he went back to PDP.
Right.
Okay? The Labour Party had a senator. It's just like you're talking about ABGA or YPP. We are saying that the new NNPP, which Senator Rabiu Musa Kwakwanso midwifed, has been there, yes, for 21 years.
21 is a long time.
Yes, for 21 years. But they have never run a national election. They have never. And if they did not gather this kind of momentum.
I fail to understand when you say they had never run a national elections where they field a candidate
where they
for
fielded the
president.
presidential candidates.
That I will have
and
to
even
check.
Governorship candidates.
Dr. Ijeh, that I will have to check. I'm surprised because I'm surprised, especially because we had over 90 political parties, and the NNPP seem to have sailed through without being delisted by INEC.
One of the reasons why they were not delisted is that in some states like Bauchi, they keep having a candidate there, I think in the State House Assembly,
right,
who keep emerging.
Right.
Okay.
But they had never gone this far in the presidential elections.
What I'm trying to tell you,
because the Labour Party would also say Peter Obi came and gave it a new face.
Can I tell you
something? By Peter Obi, and we saw the unprecedented.
You have always had this idea about Peter Obi and NNPP being this, being that. No, let me tell you.
Right.
Nigerians are tired of the other two political parties.
You said so before the election.
Yes.
But that didn't
I'm coming. That is why the elections are being contested. This is the first time in the history of Nigeria a presidential candidate emerged and nobody is celebrating.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you mean by nobody is celebrating. I've seen
have your television station congratulated the new president?
It's not in our place to congratulate anybody.
I just asked a question. You will say yes, no.
It's of course we should.
You should, but you haven't done that.
After inauguration,
I'm not aware that our president-elect today is busy there receiving visitors. Rather, they are begging people to come and congratulate him. Okay?
Dr. Stanley,
what I'm trying to tell you is that
right,
if the elections were free and fair and justifiable, there will be no need for anybody to still go to court.
In Nigeria, we've always had litigations follow elections.
No. After Jonathan, we were almost leaving that stage.
How? After
Jonathan considered defeats and didn't go to court.
Right.
Why? Because the process that brought General Muhammadu Buhari, seemed to have
was characterized by a lot of voter oppression, a lot of violence.
You are the one saying so.
I mean, we also
you are the one saying so. What I will tell you is that I was trying to use the word the minimum acceptable standard.
Minimum acceptable standard.
Yes, it does make it. I don't know what you are going to tell me.
We have so much to discuss.
Okay.
But we'll go for a short break right now. And when we return, we'll still go into why the NNPP did not clinch the presidential and more seats across states in the federation. We'll be right back. This is still Joy Asonye Live. Welcome back. This is still Asonye Live, where we are discussing the NNPP and the aftermath of the general elections. I will be discussing this with Dr. Stanley Ijeh, the National Vice Chairman, National Zonal Vice Chairman, South New Nigeria People's Party. Doc, there's also speculation. I mean, we've gone so far discussing the intricacies of the elections and how the NNPP believes that so much went wrong, and that's how why they did not do as well as they should have. But let's move this conversation to where the NNPP is at the moment. I mean, we woke up, that's on the 31st of March, to the resignation of your national chairman, the national chairman of the NNPP, that's Professor Rufai Ahmed Al-Kali, after steering the NNPP to the elections. After all said and done, we expected he would bring the house back together and forge this political party that would, like you had said, stone Nigeria. But we saw him resign. Does that mean the end to the NNPP? Is this how, like people will say, local palace? Now like this, now they do.
Unfortunately, I think you have refused to read your mails or read the papers.
Okay.
We are discussing a man who is one of the best political brain we have in this country. Professor Al-Kali, have seen it all. Is a man of immense political experience.
Okay, I'm waiting to get to what I should have seen in the papers.
Can you allow me to talk? What you read in the papers?
You seem to be running.
What you read in the papers?
You seem to have so many praises for the Professor Al-Kali.
Oh, yes.
My question would be, why then did he leave?
No.
If he has all this
because
acumen,
our political
he should
party,
be there now to stay. It is
our political party is trying to change the narratives. If you read Professor Al-Kali's resignation letter,
which I did,
if you have read it, I wonder why you are asking this question.
Where
because the man tabulated the fact that
he was leaving so that younger people take over. Would you say that
this is the only country? This is the only country.
Would you say that his age affected the outcome of the elections for the NNPP?
That is not true.
Could it be having an epiphany?
In every system where things didn't go as expected, somebody will take responsibility. Is he taking responsibility? Is that what the resignation meant? That is what he did.
Right.
That is what he did. He should be commended and not be condemned.
I mean, commended.
Yes, for having taken that initiative so that other leaders.
How can you commend ineptitude if you are admitting that he did not?
This is the first time a political party that is 200, Al-Kali is just less than 200 days in office as the chairman of the party.
But did you?
And he is able to produce a governor, produce 2 senators, produce 28 House of Assembly, and 17 reps, and you are saying...
We had several conversations ahead of the election. You did not at any time admit that the 200 and something days in would pose a problem to your political
Yes,
party.
because we were expecting the system to have worked. If the system had worked, if we were not shut out...
This accusation of illegibility of your logo?
So what?
Are we still going back?
No, but these are issues. You see, when we discuss politics, let's leave the frivolities. Let's discuss the issues. What were the issues that went wrong? One of them was the ineligibility of the logo.
Right.
2, our name was not on the ballot. NNPP.
Whose name was? It was just...
Others were. Why did INEC do that? Why did INEC shut us out? Why did INEC shut out our candidates from being uploaded? Why? We have so many governors that could not vote, that campaigned and did everything. At the end of the day, their names did not appear.
That's irrelevant to the
We
voters.
have candidates. No, what are you talking about?
I would say that it's irrelevant to the voters. That you could.
Why would it be irrelevant to the voters?
Dr. Stanley,
When you woke up to find out that, hold on, ma, when you wake up to find out that the candidates you had wanted to vote for, that his name is not on the ballot.
How do you know that? We didn't know that. It's for you.
Because you're not a politician.
Right, it's for you. I mean,
and you go to the polling booth. You go to the polling booth in your unit. You are given your ballot paper. You just discover that you don't even see the name or hypothesis of your political party. What will you do?
Dr. Stanley, if your electorate had gone there and voted the NNPP, what would you think INEC would have done in that instance?
You see, in every contest, the impartiality of the coordinator, the coordinating agents, is very, very vital. INEC was very, very impartial.
Towards the NNPP?
Towards the NNPP.
You know, I asked earlier why you think they kicked you out and you haven't really responded to that.
I'm not in their mind.
You thought do you believe that they're colluding with another political party and they were afraid for the strength that the NNPP
We
has?
leave that to their conscience. Conscience is an open wound. We leave that to the conscience of INEC. But we know that if INEC had conducted a free and fair and credible election, that NNPP, Senator Rabiu Musa Kwakwanso would have been the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria this time around.
Okay, so I'm not sure who to believe. I've had people from the Labour Party who believe that the Peter Obi would have emerged. I've also spoken to people from the PDP who believe that indeed it was Atiku who would have emerged. In fact,
he that must come to equity must come with clean hands.
I agree.
Because the hands of INEC is not clean in this endeavor. That is why you have these marrieds and plateaurians.
What do you think Nigerians should be feeling right now?
Very sad. Nigerians are mourning. Because this is the very first time the youths came out in their number to collect their PVC without anybody pruding them. You know, before they would say, if your mama no get PVC, you don't go buy, you don't go sell. If your mama no get PVC, you don't go school, you don't go do exam. This time around, it wasn't so. The youths came out in their numbers. They overwhelmed INEC. So we had believed that with that, every contestant was ready with the belief that INEC was going to do the right thing.
And these youths that came in their numbers were coming out to vote for Rabiu to give him this mandate.
Yes. Let me shock you a little bit.
Right.
Let me shock you a little bit. In my local government where I came from, I come from a family. I come from a community.
Of course.
I know those who were supporting me. I know those who were supporting the Labour Party. These two parties were the dominant party. But if it will interest you, somebody who has been in the federal house from their kingdom come failed the election. Are you getting me?
Who
I wouldn't want to mention. I don't want to mention. I would like you to
mention.
Why would I mention name?
I would like to know who you're referring to.
I will not be fair to him.
Right.
I will not be fair to him.
Somebody who has been
in the federal house for ages.
Right.
He lost.
And this could be INEC again, which haunting him.
No. I'm just telling you the effects of the desired change that the masses wanted. I want to tell you that this is equally a state where you have a vice presidential candidate of one of the major political parties, and yet the mighties fail.
So we should give INEC some support.
No, it's not INEC. It is the Nigerians who desire the change.
Dr. Stanley, you confuse me here.
How?
Because you have in all you've been saying so far, discredited.
Do you know the efforts? Do you know the efforts the Nigerian masses in that community did to stop INEC from doing the wrong thing?
Despite INEC being the umpire.
Yes. Do you know the effort they made? That is why this election, I commend the security agencies.
You do?
Yes, I do.
I'm surprised because a lot of people say they colluded with INEC.
Out of 12, there must be a Judah.
Right.
But in so many instances, they did their job very diligently. They made sure that there was no riots. They maintained peace and allow everybody to vote their conscience. But there are instances too in some other places where you have people that will take the law naturally to their hands and do a different thing. But I will tell you that in the election conducted by INEC, there are just some places where they can't help it.
They had to give it to...
Yes.
Right.
You did it. That is just what happened. This election was an open robbery.
Especially on the NNPP?
We were robbed.
I want to know, I mean, are you affirming that this robbery was on other political parties as well?
Well, I can only talk about my political party because I know the level of preparedness.
Okay.
Do you understand me? I will tell you one thing, and that was a very good experience, I would say per se, that for 5 days
before the election,
right, my presidential candidate, His Excellency Dr. Rabi Musa Kwakwaso, was in the bush for over 5 days.
Doing what in the bush?
Campaigning.
In the bush?
Yes. Campaigning. You can never believe that these people exist as Nigerians. You can never believe that there are towns in this country that they neither speak French nor English. You don't understand their language. They don't understand our own.
Was he supposed to be campaigning 5 days to the elections?
I didn't say 5 days. I said for 5 days we were in the bush.
Right. Could it be that he was campaigning to people who didn't have this? He
wanted to see Nigeria as Nigeria was. He wanted to see the problems of Nigeria. He wanted to see the infrastructural decay, how far and what he can do. He wanted to have an interaction with the people that he was going to lead. That is what we call leadership. Leadership is not about taking off on a helicopter, on a plane, go up and drop down, and then you have known the people.
I know
that is why the problem
of
Nigeria.
You're going with this, Dr. Ijeh. Maybe that is what Nigerians expect, because those who were flying about got higher numbers than the NNPP. Maybe he shouldn't have gone to the bushes.
Will you say they were awarded higher numbers?
Awarded, you say?
Yes, just use that word, that they were awarded higher numbers.
Right.
Because this is the only country that spent as much as 300 billion to drive a system that was purported to have used, in some of the states, and we applauded them. And Nigerians believe that this is who. Only for the major election where that money was supposed to have been spent for nothing to work.
Right.
For so many number of days, this system didn't work. And by now, nobody has answered query.
Dr. J, there's something I commend the NNPP that against, even the Labour Party. The fact that you had almost the same number of party agents manning all the polling units across the country. I commend that. But what are the feelers from these people? What did they say indeed happened in those polling units? I mean, I should expect that if there was that discrepancy in the eligibility of the logo,
because you are not a member of our party, you may not have an opportunity to have the reports of those polling agents.
Yeah, but my question is, what are the feelers from these polling agents?
Well, the feelers we had was that we were disenfranchised, the voting public who wanted to vote for their darling party, the NNPP, could not identify the logo nor the party in the ballot box, in the ballot papers.
But you said at some point you had to now recognize that whatever...
That is me.
That
with
is
my
you.
education and exposure. We're talking about me here.
Right.
We're not talking about the illiterate woman, the market woman, the young man there who is not politically exposed. I said it took me time. In fact, I have to put on my glasses to be able to say, is it this one? Do you understand me? I know of a woman who got in there and came out almost immediately. They say, why? He said, I don't see the party when I want, that party when they'll get basket, when they'll get fruit inside. I don't see them for ballot paper. That is why I no go vote.
Okay, before I let you go, what is the plan of the NNPP? What is happening? Because I had asked why your chairman had to leave, and I'm not sure. Does it mean that...
We have a new chairman.
Of course.
Abubakar Kau, who have emerged as acting chairman. And he's doing well. He was the former National Zonal Vice Chairman of Northeast. Okay. And we should be commended that when Professor Rufai Akali dropped in his letter that there was no succession crisis. Like in other parties? Yes, like in other parties. Because I wanted to ask that that is to show you the level of discipline and cohesion and brotherliness and love we share for one another. That will show you the kind of vision our party holds. I will tell you any day, any time that Senator Rabiu Musa Kwakwanso, PhD, if he had won the election to become the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Nigeria will be another Dubai in a few months from now. Elections are over. Stop with the advertisement and campaign. No. Elections are not. Where does the NNPP stand right now? We are moving. Our offices are open. We have conducted primaries in all the states, in the 3 states where we are having supplementary, where we are having off-season elections, right? I will tell you, I went to Imo to organize the primaries. So what's going to be done differently this time, just to mitigate some of the challenges? Because I read your former chairman, national chairman's speech. He pinpointed about 7 key reasons why the NNPP didn't win, and why there should be the suspension of this election, the general elections. I think the presidential, especially. I know he mentioned the beavers failing. He mentioned massive vote buying. He mentioned IREV not transmitting results as it was supposed to. That is why I said. I heard all of that, but. Would you say that the NNPP would stand the pressure, having had this minimal number of seats it has gotten across? It will still interest you. I would like to be interested. It will still interest you to know that currently, both in the lower and both in the upper and the lower chambers, right, and the state House of Assembly, that will still maintain the number 4th position. The number 4? The number 4th position. Right. That's applaudable. I would applaud you, but you know, and what that tells you, what that tells you, pressure and the lobbying that goes on in our Nigerian legislative houses, would you say that your House of Rep and senators would, in fact, even in the houses of assembly, the state houses of assembly, do you think pressure will get to them and you see defection? It's normal with our political landscape. Well, I will tell you something. Rather than thinking of defection, NNPP has been harvesting people from other failing political parties. Because what you don't understand is that while the other 2 parties have gone to their growth and decline and almost obliviousness, these are parties that are winning. We are moving up the ladder. Right. Are you getting me? people are coming in because our party is the party of the future.
Okay, you're talking about a party like the PDP that had.
I didn't mention any name.
Yes, you were talking about others who had gotten to the peak, according to you,
yes,
and are now disintegrating and going.
And you can see the level of distrust among them. You can see the level of indiscipline among them.
Ijeh, they are getting seats. They are getting governorship seats. They are getting.
You see, until the cases are decided at the tribunal, it is too early to call the shots.
Okay.
Do you understand? It is too early for anybody to say, I am the winner. No. Until these cases get to the tribunal and the wrongs will be righted. And those who believe that they are righted now could be proved wrong. A typical example of the scenario is just what happened in Adamawa, where impunitiously somebody stood up and announced somebody a winner.
Okay.
And asked Nigerians to damn the consequences.
Who do you hold culpable for this?
INEC, for having indisciplined staff that they could not discipline. I am amazed that as we speak, that man was just only suspended. Does INEC need to take permission from the IG to arrest the man? Does the INEC chairman need to take permission from the IG of police
who should
have that man arrested?
Who should lead that? Can INEC make an arrest? INEC cannot make. It's not within their powers. The INEC is calling on the highest.
There was a policeman manning that collation center.
True.
Wasn't there?
There was.
There was. When that man found out, when the police officer, what was his duty there?
To ensure peace and
orderliness,
no breach.
And when he found out that somebody was doing the wrong thing,
Dr. Ijeh, I'm not sure how we deviated to this, but I would like us to go back to the NNPP.
I have said to you before
that
he that must come to equity
must come with clean hands. You can't be saying that to me. I should say that to you, politicians.
No. Let me tell you something. If we play the game according to the rules, there will be no problem. Even when there is penalty, it will be taken with good faith. But in a situation where those who say the rules are the same people breaking the rules, what do you expect? Nigeria electoral system currently is sitting on, it is sitting in a state of precipice.
Right.
We must be very careful the way we treat, the electricity of our, how do I put it now?
Office of the citizens.
Yes. Because a time will come where they will push us to the wall and we will bounce back.
I really appreciate what you said. And then I finally, for those who supported the NNPP to this level and are not sure, I mean, I had pointed that to you. In your final words, what would you tell members or supporters or loyalists of the NNPP who are unsure of what's going on, the leadership, and if you are still the fourth force?
Fellow Nigerians, we want to thank you for your resilience so far. I want to tell you that NNPP, the New Nigerian People's Party, still remain the party to beat. We have good programs that put food on your table and make you go to bed with your eyes closed.
Okay, Dr. Ijeh.
Can I finish?
Unfortunately, we really have run out of time, so we are not cut off. Well, this is it for Joy Asonye Live. We've been speaking with Dr. Stanley Ijeh, National Zonal Vice Chairman, South New Nigeria People's Party. My name is Joy Asonye. We'll be back tomorrow with more. Do have a wonderful evening.